So that's the end. Delhi bow out of the tournament. Chennai march on to Hyderabad for another Mumbai-Chennai showdown. Hopefully this one will be closer, tighter than the three that we've had that have gone Mumbai's way this season. That later. For now, let's look back at the Delhi Capitals review because it's been more positive than negative. They've surely entertained us. All sorts of things with a blistering start at the 1K day where Rishabh Pant took Jasprit Bumrah on, and they have relied on Pant and Dhawan to carry this new look franchise. The overseas batsmen, that's an area of concern perhaps, and the failure to really maximize home advantage. They did end up winning 4 at the end, but there has been chat about whether the Kotla suits this particular style of Delhi batsmen and their lineup. So let's go one by one to that, and we'll start with the positives. Because fair to say, Dan, after changing the look of the side, changing a lot of things at the auction table, backroom stuff and whatnot, there were more things to look forward to, and sort of Dhawan and Pant were at the core of that.
I think every other team's going to change their name if it feels like you get a fresh start and no one lays the past on you. So I think other teams will try and change as well. Look, I think it was new ownership, or half ownership came in, so they wanted a fresh start, and a lot of the same returning players and a lot of the same coaching staff. But I think the difference was having Shikhar Dhawan at the top, and I thought before the season it was a really good trade for both teams, and I think Shikhar, what he did was he allowed all those young batsmen to not be the focal point anymore, and it was all on Shikhar and his performances. And because he has so many good performances over so many years, he knew how to bat in that situation. I think he knew how to bat with those younger players, and he knew how to talk to them and get them through a lot of stuff. So I think that top 4 is an outstanding top 4 that could carry them for a number of years. But at this stage, I still think the critical element is Shikhar being involved in it.
Okay, both Dhawan and Pant among the leading run scorers for Delhi Capitals this season. 521 to Dhawan and 488 to Pant. That strike rate was probably beefed a little bit midway through the season when Ricky Ponting said Dhawan needs to bat at more than 120 in strike rate. We thought at the start of the season that the Sunrisers had the better of that trade, getting 3 players in for Shikhar Dhawan, but he's proved his worth in more than reasonable way to the other way around.
Yeah, I think I thought Sunrisers had the better of the trade. I think Shikhar started the tournament slow as well, just not just in terms of strike rate, but in terms of runs as well. So, but he's stepped up. Again, unfortunately couldn't take Delhi all the way. Again, this game when it mattered. You needed that experience, and that's why the runs all through that top 4, and still you don't end up making the finals. So maybe there is a key. I think obviously they're overseas batsmen that they probably needed Ingram or Munro to have a good season. Munro, I know, didn't play much. Ingram didn't have the impact that everyone said that he would because he's been so good in some of the other T20 leagues, and that's why IPL is a little bit different. I mean, the conditions are obviously different.
Yeah.
So.
Also, that specialist nature of that overseas batter, because all the overseas batters that brought in are used to opening or batting in that top 3, so they may have to look at someone who actually is used to batting 5 or 6, because Ingram and Munro love batting up the top.
Now let's have a look at the issues for the overseas batters, just pure numbers. And they tried Ingram, Munro and Shafin Rutherford, all though in that number 4 to number 6 phase. 1 or 2 games that Colin Ingram batted at 3 and he got the most of opportunities, but an average of just 18.4, striking at 120. He's a better player around in other leagues. He comes with a bigger reputation, just Colin Ingram. And Munro too, with not really the breathtaking impact in any game. If you look at those names as well, Colin Munro's a world-class T20 player in his international. So other than that, they're hoping someone comes good. They need to go back to an auction table, Dan, and find a proper top opening batsman, international, anyone that you could think around that would fit this Delhi lineup, batting 4, 5, 6?
Well, I think that Shafin Rutherford they do have high hopes for him. I think they used him in an interesting way, batting 7. I think when you're a young batsman, you want to know your role more often than not. And if he could slide into a number 5 position, then that could be something for them. I think they're concerned about the amount of left-handers they have, and that could change their strategy as well, whether they want to go left, right the whole way through, because I think currently they had 4 of the top 6 or 7 were left-handers, and that maybe kept shifting Shafin Rutherford down. They looked like they wanted to leave him for the death so he could be aggressive.
Yeah.
I think he can be a good option at 5 if they give him those opportunities. And Munro's a world-class player, like you said. It's just he's so suited to batting one or 2, but I don't think that opportunity is coming to him in this Delhi team.
Yeah, well, you have to see who they have in the auction and figure at that point. But if you just end on a slightly positive note, the point Dan makes, that these 4 are likely to play on for a while now. I don't know what the retention policies will be like going forward, but if they keep Prithvi Shaw, Pant, Shreyas Iyer, even Dhawan, then this is another 4 or 5 years that they could really build a batting core.
Ability is certainly there. I mean, Shreyas Iyer, although for all the runs, the numbers, that strike rate for someone who bats in the top order isn't great. He'll have to work on that. I mean, depending on what role he's playing, whether he's trying to bat through the innings, even so 119, I think the strike rate for someone who's got over 400 runs or somewhere thereabouts. Obviously, Prithvi will be better off for this experience, and as a team, you hope that he gets better and has a bit more of a consistent season, because top order becomes so critical, as you've seen at Chennai again. Two guys playing well at the top generally dictates how the game goes. So. But they certainly have 4 players who can be around for at least the next couple of years, 2 or 3 years at least.
Yeah, a couple of things they can learn from Chennai is perhaps how to maximize home advantage, and they've not done that exactly, because they've won 4 out of 7. One of that was a super over game against KKR. But there was a period where they were just winning, just getting points for fun on the road and really struggling at the Kotla. So the win percentage goes up away, 6 out of 9 at the end of the day. And if you look at the type of players that they have and the type of pitch that the Kotla has produced, would you be tempted the least bit? What's the easier thing to change though? The pitch? Or the kind of players you bring?
No, I can tell you can't change the pitch.
You can't change the pitch then.
Pitch is what it is from what I hear. Look, I don't think they'll be too unhappy. 4 out of 7 is not too bad. I mean, coupled with what they did away from home, it's one more win if you get 5 wins at home. So I think that their confidence they have from playing so well this season, getting to know that wicket, getting to understand how they can be successful on it, and a group of players who have another season under their belt, playing 7 games there. Look, I don't think they've got anything to worry about in terms of their home conditions. I think they're just a really good team who could compete for a long time.
Yeah, you go that final review of Delhi would be that more positives to take from this season. And
I think so. When you end up on the same points as the top 2 and only get picked because of run rate, from that top 2 spot, you can't complain too much. Obviously, there are obvious issues. You'll have to, Shreyas Iyer for his leadership might be a bit more experienced next year as well. It's a big task for a young player to try and lead a team in the IPL. So hopefully he'll be better off that next year. But a lot more positives than anything else for Delhi.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and leave your comments in the comment section below. Click on the bell icon for notifications.